Tim Flannery. All you get, I could ask any of your colleagues this question, but you get to work with young guys coming up here, and guys who probably aren't going to be in the big leagues this season necessarily, aren't going to be on the club with the club on opening day, and you did it last year with a lot of guys that you ultimately did see. Tell us about that aspect of your job, because it does become, at least in the next month plus, a pretty important part of what you do.
Well, you can't take it for granted, because as you saw when Mr. Ford showed up and won a game for us, it shows that there's not one game that's not significant. I mean, every game means something, especially when you're playing the last day, 162 games, and you're playing the last day for a championship. So the teaching that you do early in spring training, you don't know that he might not come up, or this man might not be here in September to help you win. So you got to just pass the gift on that was given to you.
I'll let you speak for everybody here. Do you all enjoy doing that part of the job?
I love teaching. I mean, we wouldn't be coaching if in fact you didn't love that part of it. You love the veterans as well, because they help you. They kind of keep them focused, but that's part of it. It's great. I've been able to manage and coach at every level, from A-ball to all the way up, and like I said, this is the best bunch I've ever been around.
All right, thanks, Flan. I think we're ready to go.
Well, in that last group, you know, you get a sense that it's not just coach-athlete. There's a lot of emotion between that group of men and their players, and I think you all sensed it tonight. We'd like to acknowledge a couple of people here tonight that without them, none of this happens. And we can go back all the way back to 1993. And when we start talking about our investors, we start getting pretty choked up, because in 1993, this team was going to Tampa Bay. It was a done deal. And we need to remind ourselves what these people did to keep this team here, and what they have done to construct this team that has won a world championship for this city. And there are two people here that I want to acknowledge. You all know them. Would you please welcome Giants Chief Operating Officer Larry Baer. Thank you, Larry. Would you please give a round of applause for the Giants Managing General Partner and CEO, Bill Newcomb. Bill, thank you. All right, let's get started. This next group will be fun. And we're going to start off from the littlest giant. Mike Fontenot came over to this club, and he brought a very much needed shot in the arm to this club. He solidified a couple of 3 positions in that infield, and had a big part in a lot of wins, and more importantly, was a huge factor in the clubhouse. Veterans do that. Mike, tell us about what went through your mind when they told you were traded to the Giants.
Well, I wasn't expecting it, you know. Just taking some bat practice one day, walking up the steps. You know, I get called in the office, and they're like, "We just traded you. You don't have to go far though. You just walk across the field."
Did he just say that? Did you get a game-winning hit against the Giants the night before? Sorry, Sanchez brought that up. I did not.
Actually, right when I walked into the clubhouse, I got punched right in the ribs by Moda. Like, you hung the changeup.
I remember Comcast had a camera followed you from visitors clubhouse into the Giants clubhouse.
Made me look big, huh?
Made you look big. And you turned, just as you were walking in the clubhouse, you had a little smile. And I'm thinking now, when it's all said and done, you know, how great that turned out for you. Where you get to play with this group, you contribute, and you get a World Series ring. That's pretty special.
I will tell you what he said when I asked him when he first got over here. I says, "Well, welcome." I said, what's the best part about coming over? He says, "I don't have to face those guys anymore. They can pitch." So we're glad you're here. Nate Schierholtz. You had some amazing moments in your career. Amazing moments. I mean, you've been an Olympian. You won a medal.
Yes.
You're a Bay Area kid. You're playing for the team you rooted for as a kid. And you got to go down that parade as a world champion in your hometown. What was that like?
That was right up there with one of the best days of my life. You know, I moved to the Bay Area in 1990, instantly became a Giants fan, adopted the black and orange, and I was crushed in '02. I was still in high school, and you know, we lost the World Series to the Angels, and I was pretty disappointed. But, you know, just to get that revenge felt so good. And the fans were great. I have a quick story. I was doing the whole Disneyland experience a few weeks ago, and of course that's Dodger and Angel Country. I walk in Disneyland and I started counting Giants shirts and hats. It was 25-to-1 ratio of Giants to Dodgers.
I can testify that. We did the same thing about 3 weeks ago. And on that particular day in Disneyland, I took more pictures than Mickey Mouse did. A lot of Giants fans there.
Well, see, it was nice you handed out all those hats and T-shirts.
He knows me well.
So, Freddy Sanchez, Pirates. He coming on over into San Francisco. First time in postseason, first time in the World Series. 3 straight doubles in the very first game. Yeah.
Looking back, I just wish I would have kept running.
I do too. So, how good was it, the whole run?
It was great. I mean, that's obviously everything I've played my whole career for. That's what all these guys play for, is just to get that ring and to win a world championship. And I think it's even more special to be able to bring a world championship to a city for the first time. Right. So I think that's
You had some surgery, you're going to be ready.
I'm going to be ready, for sure.
One thing about Freddy is he's one of the best two-strike hitters in the big leagues, and he has been since he showed up on the big league's doorstep 7 years ago. But let's go back to an 0-2 at bat in the Atlanta series. Was that one of the greatest moments in your life? And tell me about the at bat, because I got to be honest with you. Those first 2 strikes, you didn't look good. You had us set up, and we were worried.
Yeah, that wasn't planned, obviously, but you know, it was just for that first series. I wasn't really feeling good at the plate, and you know, that kid came in throwing hard. You know, he came in throwing hard. His ball was jumping on me a little more than I expected, and you know, I swung I think a couple pitches over my head to stay alive, and you know, all I keep thinking, I'm the type of player that, you know, I want to be up in those situations. I want to be up with the game on the line. That's the big stage, you know, and you're not always going to get it done, but it feels good when you do, and all I kept telling myself is I'm not going to be the one to make this last out. And, you know, he threw, I don't know, 4 or 5 fastballs, and then came, I think he threw a curveball, and, you know, it's a little more my speed, I guess, on that at bat, and I was able to, you know, just make contact. That's all I try to do is put the ball in play, and you know, Huffy came out and got a big hit for us, and, you know, that was it.
All right, you're a Southern California kid, and you were raised rooting for the other guys. And now this offseason, you went back home as a world champion. And you got to walk around some of your homeboys. Did you even have to say a word or just smile?
No, I just smiled. Actually, what I did was I more kind of, you know, when they were talking to me, I said, just remember, at this time next year, I'll be talking to you like this. You know? I just kept pointing my finger and rock on it, so that was it.
Yeah, that could be a rough crowd, too.
Oh, yeah. It's not a fun crowd to be around now.
when I listened to the ovation Cody Ross received when he came in. And I'm just wondering if Cody thought, like I thought. There was a game against the Colorado Rockies where Carlos Gonzalez broke a bat triple.
Oh, no.
Cody may have broken in, whatever. Where were you guys then? Were you thinking that at all? Huh?
Really good question.
Yeah, you were thinking that a little bit, right?
I really was.
But I went back to what I said earlier about tough loss, next day, team comes back and bounces back with a win. And that's what this club did.
It did. I mean, I couldn't be more proud of these guys and be a part of this team. I've been on a few different organizations, and I've never been on one team where there's not one selfish player. I'm not going to say any names on these teams that I've been on in the past, but I mean, everybody on this team cared about the team and not themselves, and we all came together and we did it, and that's the main reason, I think.
One thing that really is upsetting me about baseball, there's 3 tiers in the playoffs. There's the NLDS, the NLCS, and there's the World Series. Now, we had the MVP with Edgar Renteria in the World Series. Cody was the NLCS MVP. But he should have been the NLDS MVP as well. Does it make you mad at all?
I don't care about that kind of stuff. As long as we got past, that was such a tough series, the Atlanta series. Once we got past that, it was just a huge weight off of our shoulders, and we knew we had a tough task at hand with the Phillies, but we were ready for them.
Did you send any Christmas cards to Roy Halladay this year?
No, it's funny you say that, because he actually, I'm sure you guys are well aware that he threw the perfect game against us. And I've tried everything against that guy. I'm talking trying to, hit the ball the other way, trying to take pitches and walk and, work the count. And none of that stuff has ever worked for me. My career numbers against him weren't very good. But I never took the approach of to go up there and just try to hit a home run.
Come on. Just try to hit a home run. Dave?
All right, well, it's sort of a... I can ask Cody without one.
Ask away.
All right. A fan asked you if there's another game besides take Game 5 of the World Series when you get to celebrate. Is there a game along the way? And it could either be, was there a critical win, an underrated game in the whole thing? Was there a game that stands out to you along the way before Game 5?
I would say before the playoffs, it was obviously the last game of the season. I mean, to have the opportunity to get into the playoffs and say you've been there and you've done it, and you hear about guys talking about it all the time. The playoff atmosphere is incredible. Every pitch matters. Every single moment is magnified. And you, as a player, you always want to feel that. You want to know what it's like. And I would say the last game of the season when we clinched to go to the playoffs, that was the key moment for me. Just to have the opportunity to get there is, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, we won't either. Great.